It was the night of March 31st, 2006, the start of spring break at Ohio State University in Columbus. The air buzzed with the kind of anticipation that only freedom from classes can bring. Bars along High Street were alive with music, laughter, and neon lights cutting through the crisp night air. Among the crowd was Brian Shaffer, a 27-year-old second-year medical student, tall and handsome, with an easy smile and an easygoing nature. To everyone who knew him, Brian had a bright future ahead, but beneath that optimism was quiet grief. His mother, Renee Shaffer, had died of bone cancer just weeks earlier. Her death hit him hard, and though he tried to stay upbeat, friends could tell he wasn't quite the same. Still, that Friday night, Brian decided to shake off the weight for a while. It was the start of spring break, and his girlfriend, Alexis Wagoner, also a medical student, was heading to her family's home in Toledo the next morning. Before she left, Brian told her he loved her and that he'd see her after the break. No one knew it then, but those would be the last words she'd ever hear from him. That night, Brian met up with his friend William Clint Florence for drinks. The two started at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular bar near campus, around 9 p.m. From there, they went bar hopping, first to the Short North Tavern, then to several other spots, taking shots and laughing, enjoying the kind of carefree night young people think they'll have 1,000 more of. Around 1:15 a.m., the pair made their way back to the Ugly Tuna to close out the night. Security cameras captured Brian and Clint riding the escalator up to the bar's entrance. Once inside, he called his friend Meredith Reed, who joined them for a drink before last call. Around 1:55 a.m., the same cameras caught Brian stepping outside toward the escalator area, talking with two young women for a minute or two. Then he turned back toward the bar's entrance, as if going inside again. And that's where the footage ends. Brian Shaffer simply vanished and was never seen again. The very definition of gone without a trace. When the bar closed, Clint and Meredith tried calling Brian but couldn't reach him. They assumed he'd left without saying goodbye, maybe gone home or met someone. Clint went home alone. Meredith dropped him off and headed home too. But when Brian didn't show up for the trip he was supposed to take with Alexis that Monday, a romantic getaway to Miami they'd planned for weeks, concern turned into panic. Alexis called him repeatedly. Every call went straight to voicemail. On April 3rd, she reached out to his father, Randy Shaffer, who hadn't heard from him either. That same day, Randy filed a missing person report. The Columbus police began by reviewing the surveillance footage from the Ugly Tuna. The building had only one main entrance, the one Brian was seen entering. It also had a back door, but that led to a construction site, a dangerous area that few people used. The footage showed everyone who entered and exited the bar that night, everyone except Brian. He was seen going back toward the bar entrance at 1:57 a.m., but there's no footage of him ever leaving. Detectives combed through hours of video from nearby bars, traffic cameras, and street surveillance. Still nothing. It was as though Brian had walked into the bar and then disappeared from reality itself. At first, police considered whether Brian might have gone off the grid voluntarily, perhaps grief-stricken and needing to escape. But his wallet, keys, and car were all found at his apartment. His bank accounts and credit cards showed no activity. His cell phone never pinged again. Everyone who knew him, his friends, professors, and girlfriend, insisted he'd never just walk away. He loved medicine. He loved music. He had plans. Brian's dream was to become a doctor, but also to start a band someday. He played guitar and was a huge fan of Pearl Jam, so much so that his MySpace page had the quote, "You can't be afraid to live your dream." As the days turned to weeks, search teams scoured the area around High Street. Flyers with Brian's photo were plastered across the city. Dive teams searched the nearby Olentangy River. Cadaver dogs sniffed through alleys, dumpsters, and even sewers. Nothing. Then came the theories, and there were plenty. Some believed Brian had been killed inside the bar and that his body was somehow hidden during the cleanup or taken out through the construction site. But investigators found no evidence of blood, no signs of a struggle, and no suspicious cleanup activity. Others speculated that Brian had fallen victim to foul play after leaving through an unmonitored exit. But again, no trace, no witnesses, no body. One theory even suggested he joined a band, started a new life under a different name, perhaps inspired by grief and wanderlust. But years passed with no sightings, and those who loved him knew Brian wasn't running from life. He was running toward it. In the years following, the mystery deepened. Brian's father, Randy, became his fiercest advocate, organizing searches, meeting with police, and even traveling across Ohio to chase down tips. Sadly, tragedy struck again. In September 2008, just over 2 years after Brian vanished, Randy was killed in a freak accident when a windstorm knocked a tree onto his home while he was in the yard. Friends say he died still believing his son was alive. Brian's younger brother, Derek, who had married and started a family of his own, said he hoped that if Brian was still out there, he'd one day see the messages people left online. Messages of love, hope, and heartbreak that continued long after his disappearance. Over the years, the case gained national attention. It's been featured on Disappeared, Dateline, and countless podcasts and forums. But the mystery remains as haunting as ever. How can a man walk into a bar one filled with cameras and never come out? No confirmed suspects, no confirmed sightings, not even a piece of clothing ever found. In 2020, an eerie twist made headlines when someone posted a photo online of a homeless man in Tijuana, Mexico, claiming it was Brian. The resemblance was uncanny. Same eyes, same build, even the same tired smile. But when investigators ran facial recognition, it wasn't him. Another dead end. And so the questions remain, echoing in the hearts of those who still wonder. Did Brian meet with foul play inside the bar? Was there an accident that someone tried to cover up? Or did he somehow, impossibly, find a way to vanish into the night without a trace? Almost 2 decades later, Brian Shaffer's disappearance is one of America's most enduring mysteries. His case still baffles detectives, haunts online sleuths, and devastates those who loved him. If you found this story chilling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.